Welcome back to my animal education series. Sharks are incredible and very fascinating species, and people both love and they hate sharks, and that leads to the Discovery Channel's Shark Week being so popular. And now Shark Week is actually 6 weeks long, which is great because I love watching all of the shows about sharks, as I bet millions of other people do, hence why it's so popular. But this video's topic is going to be about the process of shark finning. Shark finning is a process where fishermen will go out, they catch a bunch of sharks, and they cut the fins off of the shark and throw the shark back in the water to bleed out and die. And in my opinion, that's a pretty terrible death, and unfortunately millions and millions of sharks face that same death every year. Before I go any further in this video, I do want to make a disclaimer and say that all of the photos that you see in this video are not mine. We got them off of the internet, so credit to all of the original photographers who took those photos, and adding a little bit of variety to this video rather than me sitting at the beach the entire time. So again, credit to the original photographers who took those photos. We're just using them. They are not mine. So I just wanted to throw that out there before I got any further. The process of shark finning, as I mentioned before, takes the lives of millions of sharks every year. And in elementary school, or when you're younger, you learned about food chains, and as you got a little bit older, you started to learn about food webs and how things are kind of interconnected. This is a perfect example of that. As the shark populations are going down, their prey items, such as rays for example, are starting to go up. And as the number of rays, like cow-nose rays, are going up, their prey item is going down. And that is stuff like clams, scallops, and other shellfish. And as those numbers are going down, it is affecting the animals that are also eating those, such as otters, and even the fishing industry is being affected by the lack of those shellfish because of the increase in rays, because of the decrease of sharks. It's all connected somehow. There has actually been an increase in shark finning, as there is an increase in demand for shark fin soup, which is a delicacy overseas. And scientists estimate that over 100 million sharks every year become victims to this awful practice. Like, no animal should have body parts of them cut off and then thrown back into the ocean to die. That is just barbaric, in my opinion, as long as probably a lot of people's opinions. But how they catch these sharks is a process called long line fishing. So that's where they get these really long fishing lines, and they set hundreds of baited hooks and drag them out in the ocean. And that is how they catch their sharks, along with any other marine life that bites those hooks. And do you think they let those other marine life go? Maybe, but most of the times those animals would also die because they're sitting on a hook for who knows how long. And a lot of these hooks are for big sharks, so it probably causes a lot of injury to these animals. And you may also be thinking that maybe the little sharks are okay because they haven't grown to their full size yet, and they could get bigger, which is more profitable for some of these fishermen. That's not true either. No matter the size of the shark, they will perish to the same demise as an older shark, a younger shark, doesn't matter. A fin is a fin, and a fin is profit to these fishermen. So young or old, big or small, they're getting their fins cut off and they're getting thrown back in the water. Sharks, like elephants, dolphins, and humans, they take a while to make another animal. And some species of sharks don't reach sexual maturity until they're 25 years old. That's an awfully long time to even attempt at making other sharks. And when 100 million sharks are being killed every year, and some species have to wait 25 years before even attempting to make more sharks, that makes it extremely difficult for these shark species to bounce back year after year of being killed. In 2013, the Convention on International Trade of Endangered Species declared that the oceanic white-tip, Atlantic porbeagle, and 3 species of hammerhead were listed as vulnerable, and the great hammerhead, the scalloped hammerhead, and the whale sharks were endangered. I do apologize for using my phone. I just could not for the life of me remember what all those names were and their status. Conservation efforts are trying to protect sharks, reduce shark fishing, and to change the cultural perception on shark fin soup and their perceived medicinal benefits. China is the largest importer of shark fins, and they are trying to change the people's views of shark fin soup. But as a country who has had shark fin soup as a delicacy for hundreds of years, it's kind of hard to change people's minds, and progress has been kind of slow. And you could pressure big companies to not support unsustainable shark farming and support the sustainable shark farms that are in the United States or a couple other locations I saw online that do have sustainable shark farms. And supporting activities that have alive sharks, like shark diving and reef diving that have sharks there, or going down in a cage in deeper water and seeing sharks out in deeper water. All of this is telling people ways to make money with sharks without having to kill sharks. Let's say you're a tour guide and you have access to a boat in the cage, you're working for a company that has all access to that stuff, and you know where this one shark has been hanging out all day. You can drop probably 20-30 people all day, going back and forth all day, making money off of the same shark that's sitting there. Versus if you're to kill that shark, you're making money off that shark once, while the other guy is doing tours, making money all day, showing people a shark out in the wild. Or just doing reef dives and getting to see sharks interact with other fish out in the wild and seeing a whole bunch of more fish species and protecting them as well. There's a whole bunch of other ideas that you can do with wildlife and not have to kill wildlife to get money off of it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this week's video. Don't forget to leave a big thumbs up down below, subscribe to my channel, and as always, I will see you next week.